Tuesday, April 22nd, market analysis, Stan Ehrlich. I got a new headset, so the sound may sound a little different. Hopefully it's going to be good, if not better than before. I'll listen to this recording a little later to make my own judgment, but if you want to make a comment on the YouTube channel about the sound being good, better, indifferent, whatever, fine. Let's hope this works good. We have a sharp rally this morning. We're up about 15 points on the E-mini. Very strong, but although it's gotten a little bit higher than yesterday's high, I don't have any buy signals. I don't have any overbought, oversold conditions. I don't have anything but a larger volatility in the last couple, 3 weeks because of obviously tariffs. And this doesn't generate anything excitingly bullish or bearish one way or the other for me. I frankly expect it to peter out, not to have any upside follow through, and start to slip again below yesterday's lows, and maybe this week. So I'm not changing my opinion about going down. I know last week I was expecting a rally back up to a little bit larger high, a little higher high than the bullish engulfing, which is still basically the low of the market or close to it for most of the indexes. That hasn't changed. But I think it's going to get broken soon, and I think we're going to see new lows completely below 48.33. And if that happens, and before that happens, like I did yesterday, I'll be talking about how much lower, which is quite a bit, a lot, if we cannot hold the lows on April 7 and or April 9th. If those lows are broken on a closing basis, we could get very bearish. Now, again, nice rally, 13, 14, 15 higher momentarily, near the high of the day, could make some new highs. But again, I don't have anything here that's going to cause me to scream bloody murder, it's a buy. In fact, I'm pretty damn skeptical. Let's see if this peters out very shortly and slips, and I get something to hold on to, and can give you some specifics. Next chart. It's going to be the 5-minute data like yesterday on the E-mini. And all it's done is popped up to a no man's land. Haven't got anything. Next, Spider. Pretty much the same story. Remember, different trading hours generate slightly different technical tools and indicators and so on. But on a major, longer-term basis, they're 99% the same. So don't trust the rally. Looking for it to peter out. Maybe we'll get back up to 537. Don't have a real strong handle on it at the moment, to be honest with you. Sorry. 5-minute chart. Spider. Nah. Can't say anything here. Looks great. Nope. Okay. Daily data. QQQ. Coming up the resistance area. Didn't get oversold. Extremely neutral. 47 on RSI. Maybe it's trying to close this gap at 456.3. That could be. That's still not going to change anything intermediate to longer term bullish. If it does that and starts to slip back down again, then we've got a big sideways trading range developing. We'll see. 5-minute data. Not much to go on. Next. Well, by the way, when I, after 53 years of this, get into this kind of condition, I look at the longer term picture first. What is the major trend? The major trend is not good. The major trend is we stopped going up back in December, January, early February, and have made new lows for many months, for the most part. And we're nowhere near making new highs or even new lows for the last couple of weeks. So you're kind of between a rock and a hard spot. Let's go back NASDAQ, 5-minute chart, nothing, no man's land. Sorry, I know I'm going to get my bearings here real soon. Just right now, a little bit weird. Coming up a little resistance level, 39.67.9, 39.672-ish, slightly higher than today's high so far. I wouldn't be surprised to see this carry up a little bit more, but I just can't get a buy signal out of it. Looking for this to stall out across the board, all the indexes, and slip back down again to yesterday's lows and then lower. 5-minute chart, YM, nothing. A little resistance in here. Yep. A reasonable spot for the YM to stop rallying and turn down. Might be doing it right now. Okay, Russell. Sorry, Russell. No bullish engulfing. Coming up to a little resistance where it stopped a few days ago. This is not exactly the same as the other charts. The Russell and the YM have a little bit different personality than the NASDAQ and the S&P. So, resistance, neutral RSIs, not much to go on. Well, last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days mostly have been in the same tight sideways range. Could have a minor, very minor upside breakout for a little bit more strength if we can get above 1917 on a close. Next, 5-minute Russell, doing better than the rest. Still no breakout, but a little bit better. All right, bonds. Nice rally. Didn't get oversold. I wouldn't be surprised to see it rally back up to approximately 115.5 and maybe a little bit further. The long-term bull trend line a couple of weeks ago held as we came relatively close to it in oversold conditions. So bonds are actually acting a little bit better than just acting better, period. I like the oversold condition. I like the test of the major trend line. I like the fact that it didn't make any lower lows for any major amount of time. And it's showing a little bit of strength. 10-year notes, TY. Or in this case, ZN, Ninja. So, yeah, same comments. Support kind of holding. Coming back up to a little resistance at the moment. I don't know. This is a little confusing to me momentarily. Next, we got crude, heat, unleaded, natural gas. We got crude, minor new high, staying there at the moment. Top of the level of resistance. Could have a little problem here. But that's all I got to go off of is resistance. Now, it stopped about this price level, slightly lower, 2 days ago on Thursday. Remember, Friday was a holiday. So, looks friendly. I just need to see it close above 64.50 in order to get the follow through. Next, heating oil, same kind of comment. Resistance area, need to see a little bit stronger close, and then I'm going to get a little bit more friendly. I love the fact that we got a buy signal at the very bottom, and we got an extra buy signal recently. We also, in crude oil, got a buy signal at the very bottom. That's the important part. And an auxiliary buy signal a couple of days ago, all of which are working great. Going back to heating oil, and what about natural gas, which is a totally different story. And finally, ladies and gentlemen, my minimum downside objective has now been fulfilled. So, the head and shoulder top is now ancient history. It worked exactly the way it's supposed to. Minor variations. First of all, my bullish engulfing, I said I didn't want it to work anyway, and it didn't. But strict rules, you would have had a little loss on that trade. or a medium-sized loss, probably. But the scalp trade also did make a little loss. I see some red in here. So there was a small day trade loss also. Just didn't work. But the pattern did. Now I'm oversold for 2 days, second day today. And the downside objective has been fulfilled. And at this point, I start looking for buy signals. I haven't got any. Any type of a bullish engulfing within the next several days would generate a buy signal for me. So I'm on my toes to watch for a buy signal. I would not go short down here. If you are short and you're making good money, I would lower my buy stops tighter and tighter, quicker and quicker as the RSI gets lower and lower. Next, gold. New highs again, but we got a problem. We're currently lower on the day by a chunk. We're not too far away from yesterday's low. If today, before the close, we get below yesterday's low, that would almost guarantee you're going to close below yesterday's unchanged level where it closed yesterday. And you will have a bearish red engulfing ER sell signal. Hasn't happened yet, but it could. Looks fairly weak. Watching for a major sell signal in very overbought conditions, 85. I'm liking what I'm seeing here in terms of a top in the making. Silver. We have an engulfing. Currently, it's higher on the day. If it closes lower, I'll have a bearish engulfing, but we were not overbought, so as a result, I'm not going to get a red sell signal like we did back here. That was a beauty. But it's not going to happen because I'm not overbought. But I do think it'll start to slip down. But right now, it's an outside up day or bullish engulfing. So that implies more strength. If it stays higher on the day on the close, that's exactly what I have to say. It's going to pop up a bit more to the resistance at 33.6 and maybe even a bit further than that. But everything changes if you have a lower close at this point. Then you'd have a bearish engulfing, and that implies that we're going to start to slip in the next few days. Next chart, platinum. Just simply a dip down. Nothing happening of any consequence. Not sure what to say here. Pass. Copper. Jumping up into resistance. Getting closer, but not overbought yet. We could get up stronger yet. This resistance level is not, well, it's pretty good, actually. We had it topped out right on time in resistance with a red bearish engulfing. We have another one back over here right in the same resistance area. Same signal, same everything, pretty much. Topped out, just no engulfing, unfortunately. Back over here, you had a bearish engulfing. Didn't last very long. Didn't go too far, but worked. This could be a stumbling point, but I'm missing my overbought. We'll see what happens. I'm going to wait a day. Otherwise, I have to stay friendly. Next. Soybeans, oil, meal, corn, wheat, then cattle, hogs, then a couple of stocks. So, remember, I'm looking for long-term bottom formation developing. I really want to see new highs and new highs on a closing basis for obviously the last few days, last few weeks, and then much more profoundly the last few months. And it's not happening yet. I just wish this thing would start to pop up dramatically, and we're not getting it yet. It is higher on the day, but it's a doji. Next, soybean oil has an outside trading range day at the moment with a slightly lower tick. I need this to update to get a quote, net change. It'll come in the next trade. It'll come up on the upper right-hand corner. Let's rescale a little bit. Basically an outside down day momentarily. I can tell that from the little blue dot. This is my own custom coloring code on candles. So we're lower by slightly. It just hasn't changed price here. Ticked the last few seconds. So I'm looking at the moment for a very minor downside sell signal on a bearish engulfing. That's too bad. I wanted it to rally up to and through 49 on a close. That would be an intermediate to longer term breakout since last November, and cause me to expect a move up to the neckline and a breakout, hopefully, of a whopping big pattern. We're so close and we're failing at recent highs. That's not nice. I wish it was going to turn out to be a bullish situation. All right, I'm looking for a little bit of a dip here, given what I'm seeing. Okay, soybean meal. Up on the day a little bit at the moment. I like what I see, but we just don't have a trend change. We have recently lower lows. It got oversold. Yeah, it rallied back to resistance and stopped and pulled down and started to make minor new lows the last week and a half today. I haven't got what I need to tell you that this market is going to start to move up. Don't see it. Corn. Failing a little bit at the moment. Minor new lows for about a week. Not that big a deal yet. And I've missed my RSI. I didn't put it back on the chart. I was missing it yesterday also, maybe in wheat also. But I can tell that it's still medium to probably in the 60s, because we did get overbought a couple of days ago, meaning it was above 75, and we have come down for a couple of days here, so RSI would have slipped also. The big pattern is this gigantic head and shoulder bottom in corn. We do have the same thing in soybean oil and beans, but they're not breaking out. Nothing is breaking out. So I haven't got any conviction about the long-term bull yet. But as long as markets don't go down too much and they start to make new highs again, I think this head and shoulder bottom and the other bullish patterns that are trying to develop are coming along, but not yet. Next, wheat. This is one, like meal, of my nemesis. This is not making new highs for any significant amount of time, not able to overcome overhead resistance, not making new highs. We are making new lows. We are stopping at resistance on rallies. It is at a new low today for about a week and a half, 2 weeks, something like that. And ever since the top of the market during the war, at the beginning of the war, March 7th of 22, we have new lows every few months or sooner. The highs don't last. What can I say? This is obviously a bear trend that is slowing down. The rate of change or the downside momentum on a very long-term basis is getting flatter and flatter. We don't have any crashing new lows. So there's a chance that this is bottoming out, but I don't see the strength you need to. Okay, cattle. Higher high. We're staying up there for the last 2 weeks or so. We bought the bottom of the market on April 9th, as did we with the signal on March 4th. The exact low days in both cases, great. And a nice high on March 21st. So now what? Well, we're almost at 70. That's getting close to my 75 overbought. And if in the next day or two or today, it were to jump up to around 207, maybe it'll hit 75 on the RSI. Obviously, it'll get closer. And then I'll be looking at a little double or triple top. Maybe. Now, remember, triple tops are very rare. Not very common at all. Double tops, yeah, they're relatively common. Quadruples, there's no such thing. So it's either a triple and they're rare, or a double, and this has already got a double top. So this triple, I don't think is going to happen. So I think it's going to actually jump up to, say, 210. Then get overbought and have a correction. Hogs. Again, I don't understand what happened to the price action for those days. got some problems, so I'm going to pass on hogs, except for the last 2 days. Yesterday and today look normal. And because of the rally and not knowing what really happened, I don't think I know what happened for those 3 days. I'm going to say at a resistance area, 100 and a half, 100.50, that is. Not overbought, but getting kind of close at, 72. So we just might top out right here. But let's see if it can break through the resistance. There's two stocks, Shell, minor new high, looking good, but it gapped up. Second time it gapped up. So we now have another little gap to deal with. I'll put the little rectangle in there that I like to put in when we gap, just like that. And we should close this. And this one also stands a chance of getting closed when it comes down to 63.40. We got a bicycle at the bottom. That's great. That forces me to look for higher levels until I get some kind of a significant sell signal, which I haven't got. So I have to continue to be friendly on the average, but the gaps just below the market imply that there's going to be a little bit of a dip to close gaps and then go back up again. Apple gapped up. I'm going to have to do the same thing here. Small gap from yesterday's high to today's low. Good. This other rectangle is a historical support and resistance area. This one is a gap. I'm going to shrink that a little bit like this. And relevant only for a modest amount of time. This other one is much more important, but we're above it. Well, I think we could rally back up to resistance. Let's go take a look at the stock indexes again before we're over for the day. E-mini, 1 minute, which is now 5 minute, and still staying up there, pretty strong, near the highs. Don't see anything wrong. Just can't get a handle on it in an accurate way. Okay, you guys have a great day and profitable trading to you.